A Weil hat Jakob zugeschlossen die Augen. Jakob closed his eyes for a while. Die Sonne hat durchgescheint, durch, wie es reut und summendig. The sun shined through the eyelids red and summer-like. So we're in the middle of the summer here, we know. Der Bäum hat geschwibbelt mit Spegelach. Remember the expression geschwibbelt and geschwibbelt and anyway, it's the tree was teeming with little birds, with birds. Sie haben gezwitschert, gesungen, getrellt. The birds were tweeting and singing. The birds were tweeting and singing. Yaakov is nicht geschlafen und hat nicht gewacht. Yaakov, he didn't sleep and he wasn't awake. Is in Ganzen wie eingesunken in der Midkeit von Ruf. It was as though he was completely sunken into the tiredness of his body. Nu, azoi hat Gott gewollt. Well, this is what God wanted. Seinen Gewennzeiten, wenn Jakob hat on euch her gebeten euch sich dem Teut. There had been times when Yaakov had, without a stop, wished for his death. Hat afilu getracht wegen Anton sich am Meise, aber hat sich angehäuben zu gewöhnen zu der Fremdheit, der Abgerissenheit, der schwere Arbeit. There were times when, there were even times when he thought of committing suicide, which I guess is the idiom Anton sich am Meise. I don't know how that comes to mean he was going to commit suicide, but I assume that that's what he's talking about, that he was doing to himself.
Yeah. Put the end to it.
Say again?
Put it to the end.
Put it to the end, yeah, put it to the end. But he started to get used to the strangeness and the feeling of being ripped off, the feeling of being away from what he knew and the work and the hard work. A schlof epla is herabgefallen. A schlof epla, I believe, is a pine cone, some kind of something fell from the tree. Ergens weit hat gekuckt a cuckoo. Someplace far away, a cuckoo bird was cuckooing. Yaakov hat aufgemacht de ledlach. He opened his eyes. Durch dem Geweb und Zweigen und Nodeln hat sich durchgesiegen die Sonne wie durch a Sieb. We could count how many times in this paragraph Bashevis has used the word durch. It's so bolet, it's so prominent in this paragraph. So through the web of branches and I guess needles, like, the pine cones, the sun came through like it was coming through a screen. So it was the trees provided that kind of a screen. Dort is the shine gefallen wie a Spinnweb mit alle Kulieren von Regenbogen. Here and there, the shine, maybe the rays fell like a spider's web, a Spinnweb, with all the colors of the rainbow. A let's toppen toy hat gefleckelt, geblitzt, geworfen mit lichtige Spieseln. A last drop of dew was exploding and blazing, and it threw little light beams or little light needles, I think. So this last drop of dew. Avade is nicht gering zu gläuben in Gottes Chesed, wenn mir weiß, als Reutzkim vergraben Kinder Lebendigkeit. You know, it's certainly not easy to believe in God's kindness or in God's chesed. How would you chesed? God's chesed.
Mercy.
Mercy. Very good. Better. When you know that murderers were killing live children, aber Gott's Chochma hat men gesehen b'sheiperlech. But in spite of knowing that, God's wisdom was obvious. I guess obvious to the nature. Jakob ist eingeschlafen und es ist ihm gleich gekommen zu Cholem Wande. Jakob fell asleep and immediately appeared to him. Wanda appeared in his dream. So you want me to go on a little bit more and then maybe Chaim will take over? Der Tug is Gahat Aribel. That's a beautiful way of putting it. Like the day had passed. We saw the passage of the day. Vayihi Boker, as is zugefallen dem Farnacht. The night was starting to fall. So we've passed a whole day with him now. Die Sonne hat sich akel getun zu Mariv. The sun was turning to the west. In die Heuchnischen hat sich getragen an Odlil. In the high places, there an eagle was flying. Hat geschwebt, groß und Pamela, wie a himmlischer Segelschiff. He like swept large and slowly, like a heavenly sailboat. Now this is a word I don't know, and it appears again. The viol, I can tell from the context what it means, but I wonder if somebody knows. I was not able to find even though der Himmel.
Vivoil, der Himmel. Vivoil.
Vivoil.
How much?
How much? Oh, vivoil as in how good or how
Yes.
boil.
Yeah.
Is that it? Vivoil. Der Himmel ist geblieben rein, haben auf die waldige Abhangen sich geknäult Näpplen, weißer wie Milch. As even Vivoil, you think is what did you say that it was, Chaim?
As much as
much as the sky was clean, but over the woods were hanging twisted mists, white as milk. Sie haben sich gekreiselt, gezingelt, geprüft, Eusbulmennen Azura. These mists, they twisted themselves, they made tongues as though they were trying to form a shape. Sie haben Jakoben der Mond und dem Homer Juli, der ursprünglichen Stoff, was wegen dem hat gelernt in Morenebuching und in Kuzari. So these mists, which were twisting and turning and trying to create a shape, they reminded him of the philosophical, that word comes from an Arabic word into medieval Hebrew referring to, it means amorphous, the amorphous material that he learned when he learned the Guide to the Perplexed and the Kuzari, which are medieval philosophical works. So he's comparing the myths to these philosophical works that he studied when he was learning. Wenn Yaakov is gestanden, bei der Stahl, hat geguckt auf der Schettach meilenweit. When Yaakov stood by the stall, he looked over an area that was miles wide. Die Berge haben sich gestreckt, unbewohnter, wie bald noch dem Welt beschaffen. So the mountains stretched out they were not inhabited, these uninhabited, just like after the creation of the world. And the scene, die Wälder seien gestiegen, einem über der anderen wie Tritt. Früher die Blätterbäume, noch die Sosnes und Jodles. So the trees, he's standing and looking at this, the trees formed a kind of, it was like they were woven like steps. First, the green leafy trees, the Blätterbäume, and after that, the pines, and I don't know what a Jodle is.
They're firs, fir trees.
The firs, okay, so it's the evergreen trees. Noch höher haben herausgestarrt die nackte Felsen, even higher stretched out the naked, craggy rocks. Auf die hohe Spitzen hat sich gebleicht dem Schnee. This is in the middle of the summer. Over the highest points was the snow. Es haben sich gewilket von ihm große Gewänder, sich gerückt arup, zu die waldige Durchgänge, gerät einzuhüllen die Welt in die Tarichen und Winter. There's a nice image. So, and the highest, after the snow, and the snow was like it was made from gray cloth, and it was ready to go down. It was ready to hide the world in the shrouds of the winter. Well, I think that's enough for me. Yeah, Chaim.
Okay, it's a challenge.
No, the whole thing is a challenge. All of these descriptions are challenges, but they're beautiful images. You have to enter into them. That's
Yeah, indeed, but it's not easy. There are too many words that are difficult to grasp. Okay, bald noch München. Haben Jankoven die Fies zugeführt zu jenem Bergel, von wannen man kann sehen dem Steg zum Dorf. right or soon after Mincha prayer, his Yankov's legs led him to that little little hill, probably to that hill from where one could see the narrow way road to the village, to small. I don't know how do you say in English. Tech. It's a small road, like the one that you make.
Like a little path.
Little path, in the wilderness. Yankov hat sich auf gestellt, verstehen besser zu sehen. So he stood up on a stone in order to see better. Wanda is gekommen zu ihm. Yes, Wanda was coming to him, or has come to him. Hat der Kont von der Weitens ihr Gestalt, ihr Kopftichel, ihr Gang. He recognized her from afar, her image, her chief on the head cover, and the way she moved. Die große Wanda hat von dannen ausgewiesen wie Pizzele, Menschele, klein wie ein Finger, wie eine von jene Schretterlech und Karlik Klech, was wegen sie hat Wanda erzählt, also viel Geschichtes. Where was the beginning? The big Wanda from there looked like a very small little person, small as a finger, like one from those Miglets and Lilliputs that she told stories about. They haben gewohnt in Heilen von Stammen, in Spalten zwischen Steiner, unter Dächlech von Hint schwommen. They inhabited caves from Stammen. I'm not sure.
I think like tree trunk.
Tree trunk, yeah, came to me. So it's kind of not caves, but how do you say it in English?
Hollows in the tree.
How do you say it? Hollows, yeah. From the trees in the spaces between the stones and roofs from dog houses.
No, not dog houses.
What is this?
There's a kind of, I think it's some kind of mushroom. Schwommen, isn't that a mushroom?
Schwommen is a mushroom, yes.
Yeah, so some kind of, like the
little hint.
Like the little, you know how in a mushroom it's like a little, there's like a little cap. I think it's under the roof, under the top of this mushrooms. They lived underneath these little mushrooms. That's a kind of mushroom.
Funny.
Yeah, it is.
In the translation here, I see under the eaves of toadstools.
Oh, okay. So it's
I don't know what a toadstool is.
It's a mushroom.
it's a
It's a
kind of
mushroom.
mushroom.
Kind of mushroom.
Yeah.
Toadstool. Is it the red one with white spots on it? Or not?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Is it the red one with white spots on it?
No, the
Yeah.
toadstool isn't a particular kind of mushroom. It's a wild mushroom. It's another word for a mushroom.
Oh yeah. Okay, never mind. Okay. Okay. In der in der Zeit von Dämmerung seien sie herausgekommen, sich spielen in grüne grüne Mantelach, blauwe Mitzelach, rote Stiefelach. In the time of darkening, probably when it becomes dark, they went out to play in their green, gowns, dresses. How do you say it?
Like jackets, I think.
Jackets.
I think a mantle
Jackets or
is
coats.
yeah, a jacket. A mantle.
Mantle is like a coat, so it's
Yeah, so it's like a little coat.
something
Everything, but everything with them is little. They're mantelach, they're stiebelach. Everything is little. They're little jackets. They're they're little creatures.
Okay. So Mitzelach probably some kind of a cap or a hat. Reuter Stivelach is like boots, high boots or something. Yankov is gestanden, nicht gekonnt abwenden von dem Blick. Yankov stood there, not able to take his eyes away from her. Correct? Yes. In Alts is gelegt hein. In ihr Gehen opstellen sich verschwinden auf Teuchen, wie sie wollt, sich gespielt mit ihm Jankoven in Behaltenisch. Where was I? In everything there was a kind of charm in everything she did, in the way she walked, stopped herself, disappeared,
Resurfaced.
kind of appeared again, so disappeared and appeared again, as if she would play hide and seek with him, with Yankovым. Zumal hat die blechene Krug, wo sie hat getragen, getan Finkel, wie Diamant, probably. Diamant. Sometimes the tin cap, I guess it's the one that she brought for milk, that she carried with herself, made produces a spark like a diamond. Yankov had von der Weitens der kont dem Käuber, was in ihm hat sie ihm gebracht Speis. Yankov from far away recognized the baskets that she used to bring him food. Okay, I have 4 minutes left. Wanda is geworden als größer. Wanda was becoming more and more larger, bigger. Noch a while hat genommen ihr Gegenläufen. So in a while he started to run towards her. Klomerst zuzunehmen bei ihr die not sure what it is.
Die Masse.
Masse. Die Masse wie wohl die Krugen seinen jetzt ledig.
What does massa mean?
The weight.
The load, I guess.
Like mass.
The load, yeah.
The mass.
Mass.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's that word vivoil again. You see how it appears again.
Yeah.
The vivoil.
Like the cap was still ledig.
As though. It's as though even though.
Mm-hmm.
Vivoil.
Okay, so
excuse me, just with the voil, it just bothers me because voil I always think of as good, a voiled child, something good. So how does that come to even though vivoil as good as or as I can't get my head around it. I'll have to think. Is it related to the voil?
Like voil
it's a phrase.
Voil is
it's just a phrase.
Like good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. To me, it sounds normal. I don't know why.
In the translation, I see, although the pitchers she was carrying were still empty.
Empty. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's how it.
Even though, as though.
So, if you will.
Even though.
Sie hat and Kloimerst is like awkward took her load, though even though the pitches were still empty. Sie hat ihm der Zen und sich abgestellt. She noticed him and stopped. Is ihr gegangen via Hossen Akale. He approached her as a groom would do a bride. Bald ist gestanden neben ihr, voll mit Liebschaft, voll mit Schämhaftigkeit, soon he was staying next to her, full with love and with shyness.
Okay. Oh, here's voil again.
But it's not vivoil.
Had voil gewusst, als Tor nicht gucken auf ihr, aber hat alles gesehen. Just a minute. I'm going to make use of the translation. Jewish law he knew forbade him to look at her, yet he saw everything. Die Augen seinen Teilmol Bleu und Teilmol Grün. her eyes, which were sometimes blue, sometimes green, die volle Lippen, dem länglichen Hals, dem runden Bosom, her full lips, her long, slim neck, her womanly bosom. I guess that's Bashevis' translation. Sie hat gearbeitet in Feld, gleich wie alle andere Poetes. Aber die Hände ihrer seien geblieben weiblich und geschnitzt. Like any other peasant, she worked in the fields, but her hands remained feminine. Yaakov.
Excuse me, what is geschnitzt? Like well formed or
Well formed,
well
carved,
formed,
like a carving.
Schnitz, okay.
Yeah, whittled or carved.
Carved.
Yaakov hat benommen, als zet euch neben ihr umgelumpert. He felt awkward standing beside her. Nicht geschoren, nicht gekämmt, in Häusern versannen zu kurz, abgerissen und abgeschlossen wie a Bettler. His hair was unkempt, his pants too short, and as ragged as a beggar's. Yaakov had noch in Yusufov gekonnt reden Polish, weil von der Mutterzeit hat gestammt von Pachters und Häufjiden. Being descended on his mother's side from Jews who had constant dealings with the nobility and had rented their fields, he had been taught Polish as a child. Da in Gefangenschaft hat sich ausgelernt reden wie a Goy. Teilmal hat viel vergessen, wie man ruft an a Sach in Yiddish. He had been taught Polish as a child, and now in his captivity, he had learned to speak the language like a Gentile. At times, he even forgot the Yiddish name for some object. Guten Abend, Wanda. Good evening, Wanda. Guten Abend, Yaakov. Good evening, Jacob. Hab dich gesehen gehen dem ganzen Weg. I watched you coming up the mountain, I read in the translation. Ja, did you? Und der Blut ist ihr ungelaufen in Punem. The blood rushed to her face. Hast ausgewiesen so klein wie ein Arbesel. You look no larger than a pea. Von der Weitens seid also klein. Things look that way from a distance. I feel like I'm cheating here reading the translation. Ja, Sesames, hat gesagt. Die Sterne seien so groß wie die ganze Welt. Aber manchmal sie seien weit, gucken sie euch wie Pintelach. The stars are as large as the whole world, but they are so far off, they appear to be little dots. Wanda hat geschwiegen. Wanda became silent. Hat oft gerät, äußerliche Wörter Sie haben gar nicht gekonnt rein in ihre Gehirn. He often used strange words which she did not understand. Hat ihr alles gehabt erzählt. He had told her his story. Is gewend bei die Jiden in die weite Mekoimes a Lerner. She knew that he was descended from had gekneld in die Bicher via Bischof oder Areent. He studied the books like a bishop or a Areent. What is Areent?
A notary.
Notary, right, notary. Had a vibe met Kinder, nor die Heidemakers haben sie gekoilt. He had a wife and children, but the Cossacks killed them. Aber wo seien Jiden? Wo steht in die Bücher? Und wer seien die Heidemakers? What were Jews? What was written in their books? Who were the Cossacks? Wanda hat das nicht benommen. All of these things were beyond her comprehension. Nu, und das, was hat jetzt gesagt, als die Sterne seien so groß wie die Welt, hat sich euch nicht gelegt auf den Sechel. Nor did she understand his statement that the stars were as large as the earth. Wenn sie wollten gewähren, wahrhaftig, so groß, wie so können sie rein in Dorf. If they were really that large, how could so many cluster above the village? Aber Wanda hat schon lang gehabt bei sich abgepasst, als is ein Mann mit hohe Gedanken. But Wanda had long since decided that Jacob was a profound thinker. Wer weiß, Efscher is a Taka a Kishifmacher, wie die Bobbes unten Motlin. Motlin. Perhaps, no. Who knew? Perhaps he was a wizard, as was whispered by the women in the valley. Sie, Wanda, hat ihm lieb gehad, sei wie sei, but whatever he was, she loved him. Das gehen zu ihm arauf, jeden Vernacht, is for ihr a Yontif. Evening for her was the festive part of the day.
Jakob hat bei ihr zugenommen die Krugen und sie seien aufgegangen zusammen. Jakob took the jugs from her and they walked up together, or walked up together. Ein anderer auf sein Ort wird sie angenommen beim Orm oder ihr aufgelegte Hand auf den Achsel. Somebody else might have linked her arm or placed a hand or an arm on her shoulder. Aber ist bloß gegangen neben ihr, bescheiden wie ein Engel. But he simply walked next to her, unassuming, like a little boy. Es hat geschmeckt von ihm mit Stall und Grosen. He had a smell about him like a stable and of herbs. Es hat geschrommt von seinem Körper a sonnige Warmkeit. A sunny warmth exuded from his body. Wanda hat ihm schön gehabt vorgelegt, soll mit ihr Chassene haben oder liegen mit ihr so, als a Broche von a Galach. Aber sorry?
On a bracha, without a bracha.
Sorry?
On a bracha. Is that what you said?
On a bracha, okay. On a bracha von a Galach. Aber hat sich gemacht nicht wissendig. Wanda suggested to him that he should marry her or lie with her just like that without the blessing of a priest. But he made as if he didn't hear her. An andermal hat gesagt, as Znus is verboten. At another time, he told her that debauchery or lewdness was forbidden. Gott guckt herab von Himmel. Bezahlt jeden sein Lohn und sein Straf. God is looking down from the heavens, and he rewards gives each person his reward and his punishment. Wanda hat das euch gewusst. Wanda knew this as well, aber man hat das getan in Dorf. But this is what they would have done in the town. Der Galach a viele hat gehabt herumgehen a halb tutz mamzerim. There were half a dozen mamzerim who.
No, I think it's even the Galach had 6 halb-tuts. He had 6 illegitimate children. The Galach afilu hat gehat harungim. They were going around. He himself.
Even he himself had half a dozen mamzerim.
Yeah.
Es ist nicht gewesen in Dorf kein Mannsbild, was wollt ihr abgesucht. There wasn't a single man in the village who would have refused her. Verkehrt. Sie seien alle gelaufen noch hier. On the contrary, they all ran after her. A viele das Sündel von Kommissar Stefan, even the son of the commissar, whose name was Stefan. A woch is nicht darüber, als Emmets von die Jungen soll nicht schicken zu ihr die Mutter oder die Schwester, sie soll vermitteln beim Schiddach. A week didn't pass by when one of the young men didn't send his mother or a sister to mediate a match with her. Andere haben auf viele Bezeitens gebracht Matones, wo sie Wanda hat zurückgeschickt. Others at times brought presents, gifts, which she, Wanda, returned. Wanda ist jetzt gegangen mit einem ungebeugenen Kopf, vertracht über dem Rettenisch, was sie hat nicht gefunden, der Ruf kein Bescheid. Wanda went around with her head bowed, considering the mystery for which she couldn't find a solution. Sie hat liebgekrogen dem Knecht gleich von ersten Augenblick. She I suppose you could say she fell in love with the slave immediately when she laid eyes on him. Hat sich zu ihr nentert in die Jahren, aber ist geblieben weit. He was very close to her in age, but he remained distant. Sie hat wieviel Mal gehabt bei sich aufgepasst, als von dem Tag wird nicht sein kein Bräut. So very often she she saw that from this dough no bread would come out. Und als sie verliert die junge Jahren siehst, and that she was wasting her young years for nothing. Aber es hat sie gezeugen zu ihm, but she was drawn to him. Sie hat sich kaum gekonnt der warten auf dem Vernacht. She could hardly wait for the evening. Man hat geredet auf ihr in Dorf, die Bobbes, man hat geredet auf ihr in Dorf. They were in the town, in the village, they spoke about her. Die Bobbes haben euch ihr gelacht und sie stacheliert. The old women laughed at her, and I don't know what this stacheliert, I couldn't find that.
Is it related to the word stoch? Like,
And they pestered her.
Say again?
Pestered. I think I found it in the dictionary. Pestering bothered her.
It's stecheler in the dictionary.
But it's not related to stoch?
Yeah,
No?
it's
What does
related
it
to
mean?
stoch, very likely.
Stoch meaning, you give him a stoch. You annoy somebody. That's not quite annoy. You give him a stoch. irritate somebody, you are rude to somebody, it's
In
a
the
shtoch.
translation, it says past sly comments.
Yeah, you give somebody a
Okay.
shtoch. It's
It's idiomatic.
Okay, andere haben a Reus gedrungen, as der Knecht hat ihr ungetan a Kishef, and others deduced that the slave had cast a spell on her, aber sie hat sich nicht gekonnt von ihm befreien, but she couldn't free herself from him. Wanda hat sich herabgebeugen, ausgeflickt a Blimmel, genommen reißen die Blättler. Wanda bent down and picked a little flower and began to tear off the petals. Hat lieb? Did he love her? Hat nicht lieb? Or did he not? Das letzte Blättel hat gesagt ja. Hat lieb. The last petal said yes, he did love her. Aber wie lang wird sich so reizen mit ihr? But for how long would he tempt her? Die Sonne is untergegangen. The sun was setting quickly. Sie hat sich getan a Keuler runteren Berg, und der Tag ist gehat vorüber. The day was sort of rolling down the mountain, and slowly the day was passing. Vögel haben gekracket, geschrien. The birds were squawking and squawking, shouting. Die Pastiger haben gejodelt, and the shepherds were yodeling. Zwischen die Küsten seinen aufgegangen Räuchers. Among the shrubs, a smoke was rising. Man hat schon auf dem Berg gekocht Nachtmahl. On the mountain, they were already cooking dinner. Oder gebrotten etwas a chayele, was is reingefallen in die Paske. Or they were cooking some little animal who had fallen into a trap. Okay.
We have two more people. I'll go to 3 o'clock.
Could I just ask Raphael a question? Is Raphael still here?
I'm here.
Oh, my question was going back to the Stocheleert. You mentioned that it's Stecheleert is to pester, but so is that a dialectical difference?
Most likely, Stecheleer.
Because the Stoch is also to jab.
That's right, and the diminutive is Stechel. It's one of these standard vowel switch changes that happens in Germanic languages when you change one word from one form to another. So Stoch, Stecheleer makes sense. Stacheleer, on the other hand, doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Okay, so it's Stecheleeren, really.
I think so.
Okay. I wasn't, I was just curious about that. Wanda hat gehad gebracht, Jacob brought. Wanda had brought bread for Jacob. Grinsen, vegetables, una seltene matona, and an unusual gift. An ei was die weiße Huhn hat gelegt und was Wanda hat abgenommen und dem Wissen von der Mutter und der Schwester. And the unusual gift was an egg from the white hen that the white hen had laid and that Wanda had snitched, had taken away without the knowledge of her mother and her sister. In der Zeit, was Wanda hat ausgemolken die Key, while Wanda was milking the cows, what Jacob zugegräbt war ihr Nachtmahl. Jacob prepared dinner for her. Hat ungezündet auf die Steine und stahl ein paar trockene Zweigler. He lit on the stones in the stable a few dried twigs. Aufgesotten heiß Wasser, boiled up some water, und darin abgekocht das Ei, and he boiled the egg in the water. In der Stall ist schon finster, in the stable it's dark already, aber Jacob hat gelost offen die Tür, but Jacob left the door open. Der Flamme von die Sosna Zweigler, the flame from the pine twigs, hat geworfen feierdicke Flecken through fiery patches of Wanda's ponim on Wanda's face, sich abgeschlagen in ihre Augen and were reflected in her eyes. Jacob ist gesessen auf einem Plätzl. Jacob sat on a little wooden stump or something, a wooden block. Und so hat ihm der Mond on Tisha B'Av, and it reminded him of Tisha B'Av und der Seuda HaMafseket and the meal before the fast. I'm open to pronunciation. I think it's Seuda HaMafseket, but if it's wrong, please correct me.
I would make that a suf at the end, Hamafsekes.
Hamafsekes, thank you.
And is that the meal after or the meal before?
It's
I'm
the
not
meal
familiar with the
before.
term.
No, it's the meal before.
It's the meal before, okay.
Yeah.
Das Essen an Ei ist ein Simen von Avelis. The eating of an egg is a symbol of mourning. Weil also wie an Ei is keilig, because the same as an egg is round, also is die Welt Gilgal HaChoser. Okay, so the same way the world is a wheel of fortune. And again, I'm not sure of the pronunciation.
Achaizer.
Achaizer, thank you.
And it's not fortune, it's just a wheel that turns, a wheel that turns back.
Right.
That returns.
Hat sich gewaschen zu Uyedechem. He washed himself, he washed his hands, presumably to the prayer of raise your hands. I think that's the translation. Raise your hands.
That's right.
Yeah. Gelost die Hand optiken and allowed the hands to dry. Gemachte Hamotzi, he said Hamotzi, a blessing. The bread, eingetrunken dem Bissen in salt, and dipped the little bit of bread he had into salt. Und statt a Tisch hat benutzt an übergekehrten Emmer. Instead of a table, he used an upside down bucket. Manchmal hat keinmal nicht versucht, kein Fleisch, because he never tasted any meat, hat sich benötigt in Speis, was gibt Koach. He needed food that would give him strength. Hat geworfen auf wandenseitige Blicken. He took sideways glances at Wanda. Sie ist ihm getreu wie a Weib. She is loyal to him like a wife. Sie hat ihm jeden Mal zugegräht, etwas an der Quickenisch. She always prepared for him something to strengthen him, revive him. Hat geprüft, ersticken die Liebschaft zu ihr. He tried to strangulate, to destroy his love for her. Hat sich der Mund dem Posuk. He remembered the verse, V'chesed le'umim chatat, and I'm not sure if this is the translation, and mercy for the peoples is a sin. Is that right?
I think that's right. And it's chatas.
Chatas, okay. Okay. Well, I'm surprised that I remember that much of the Hebrew. Sie tut es denn l'shem mitzvah. Is she doing it as a good deed? She's als erfahr, weil sie Lust zu ihm. She's actually doing it because she is lusting for him. Sie ist eine Liebschaft, was hängt ob ohne dreusendiger Sache. It's a love that doesn't depend on any external things. Wenn kriegt Khalila Feller oder wird Sris is always. If, God forbid, he should feller, something bad should happen to him. I'm not sure what is Sris.
A eunuch.
And if he should become a eunuch, then it's null and void. It's cancelled. Aber Azoi is der Koach Adam, but as it is at the moment, he is the strength of the blood, die Natur von Blut und Fleisch, the nature of blood and flesh, als betracht nicht zu viel rein, so that one doesn't think too much of that. I think if you could help me with that sentence.
Let me go back a bit, if I could. I looked up that quote. It actually is from Proverbs. It's Proverbs 14:34. Righteousness exalts a nation. Sin is a reproach to any people. Chesed le'umim chatas. So, chatas is the subject there. It's kind of weird. I'm sure you can interpret it other ways as well, the way we did it before, but at least Safaria translates that as sin is a reproach to any people. Now, to this sentence, that's a tough one. He's saying that it'd be, if only he acquired a feller here, it means a defect that would make him impotent, or if he becomes if he were castrated, then everything would disappear. But now he happens to have the full strength of his blood, and there's no sense in worrying too much about it. I think that's how I understand Metracht nicht zu viel rein. No sense worrying too much about it.
Thanks. Thank you. Mazet Blois force is up there flach. You only see what is on the surface. Jacob hat gekeift, Jacob chewed, sich zugehört zu die Milch, sich zugehört zu die Milch von Eiter in
zugehört wie die Milch.
Zugehört wie die Milch, falls von Eiter in milk scheffel, and listen how the milk falls from the udder into the, I assume, the bucket, the milk bucket. In draußen haben schon gegrillt die Feldgrillen. Outside, the crickets were chirping. so haben gejummelt und gejuget die Micken. The mosquitoes were already humming and droning. Die Babelach, the insects, Millionen Beschäftigt, many millions of little creatures, jedes mit seinem Gebrumm, each one with its own sound. In Himmel haben sich gezünden die Sterne, the stars were turning on in the heavens, und sie ist aufgegangen der Scher von der Nährlevone. And in the heavens, the stars were turning on, and the sickle moon, the new moon, the sickle moon, was rising. I think I've done my share. If there's someone to take over from there.
All right, maybe I'll read some then. Wie schmeckt dir das Ei? Hat Wanda gefragt. How do you like the egg? Wanda asked. Good, es ist frisch. Great, it's fresh. Was kann sein frischer? How could it be even more fresh? Ich bin gestanden dabei, wie die Hund hat es gelegt. I was right there when the hen laid it. Also, wie es ist ein Fall getan auf den Streu, as soon as it fell on the straw, habe ich es gleich aufgeklippen. I collected it immediately, ungetracht, and I thought, this is for Jacobin. This will be for Jacob. Die Schal is noch gewinn warm. The shell, the eggshell, was still warm. Du bist a Guter. You're a nice person. Ah, ich kann sein schlecht euch. What? Well, I could also be evil. Aber es wendet sich zu wem. It just depends on to whom. Zu stachen, ruhen soll seine Schamme in Himmel, bin ich gewinn schlecht. To stach, his soul should rest easy in heaven. I was not good. Aber was epis? So why not? Ich weiß nicht. I don't know. Hat alles verlangt. He wanted everything. Keinmal nicht gebeten. No, he demanded everything. He never asked for it. Wenn hat mich gewollt haben bei Nacht, when he wanted to take me at night, hat mich aufgeweckt in mitten Bett, besten Schlaf. He would wake me up in the middle of my best sleep. Bei Tag hat mich niedergeworfen in mitten Feld. And in the day, he would just throw me down in the middle of the field. Die Wörter haben erweckt in Jacobin, sei a Widerwillen, sei a Teive. These words awakened in Jacob both a disgust and a lust. Das ist nicht recht. That's not right. Was weiß der Klopp? Was ist recht and was ist unrecht? What does an oaf know about what's right and what's wrong? Muss haben das seineke. He just had to have his. Einmal bin ich gelegen schlaf und der Stern ist mir gewesen so heiß wie ein eingeglitten Blech. One time I was lying sick and my forehead was as hot as an ungeglitten Blech. The Blech is a tin covering over a stove. And ungeglit means not burning, but glowing, like a glowing tin cover. Aber ist gekommen zu mir, but he came to me. Und ich hab gemusst sich ihm abgeben. And I had to yield to him. Like im Gesetz von der Torah man nicht zwingen sein Weib. According to the rules of the Torah, a husband should not force his wife, hat Yaakov gesagt. Jacob said, muss sie einnehmen früher mit guter Red, bis sie es willig. He's supposed to first speak to her with good speech until she is willing. Who is the Torah? In Yusufov? So where is this Torah? In Yusufov? The Torah is Umatam. No, the Torah is everywhere. Wie kennen Sie seine Mutter? How could it be everywhere? Es ist die Lehre. Wer soll der Mensch soll sich führen? It's the set of rules about how people should conduct themselves. Wanda hat geschwiegen eine Weile. Wanda was silent for a while. Das ist alles in die Stadt. Now that only applies in the cities. Da seien die Mansleit wie die wilde Ochsen. But here, the menfolk are like wild oxen. Ich will dir etwas sagen. Let me tell you something. Doch schwer, also es keinem nicht erzählen. But first, swear that you're not going to tell anyone. Mit wem redet denn? Who am I talking to anyhow? Mein eigener Bruder hat sich geworfen auf mir. My own brother threw himself on me. Ich bin noch damals gewesen ein Mädel von 11 Jahren. At that time, I was just a girl, 11 years old. Antek? This was Antek? Ja, ja. Ist zurückgekommen schicker von Schenk. He came home drunk from the tavern und hat mich gewollt anheben, and he wanted to begin mich, it's not mehr, mich. Hat mich gewollt anheben. He wanted to start me. Doch Mutter ist geschlafen. Our mother was asleep. Von mein Geschrei hat sie sich übergeweckt, but she woke up because of my scream. Sie hat Chab getan, das Pommeschaf und ihm abgegossen. She grabbed the Nachgeschirr. What's it? It's a Pommeschaf. It's a
slop pail.
The slop pail.
A slop. It's not just a slop pail, but yes, it's a night pail. Pommeschaf. Yeah, slop pail. We'll translate it that way. And she poured it on him. Yankov had abgewahrt a while. Yankov waited for a bit. Bei Jeden treffen nicht seine Sachen. This sort of thing never happens by Jews. Da was nicht. Why not? Sie haben geharget unser Gott. They murdered our God. Yes, I couldn't mention hargen in our Gott. How could it be that people can murder a God? Was face if. How do I know? As I had Skalachal gesagt. That's what the priest has said. Und du bist taka Yid, and you are, after all, a Jew. Yeah, a Yid, yeah, I'm Jewish. Es glaubt sich etwas nicht. It's hard to believe. Wer an unseriker und hab mit mir chasenet. Why don't you become one of us and then marry me? Ich will sein zu dir a Getreibheit. I will be a true wife for you. Wir wollen haben a chate. We'll have a cottage in Tal, in the valley. Und Zagayik, that uns teilen Erd. And Zagayik will give us a portion of his field. Miren abarbeiten fahren Poritz, sein Zeit, will work for the landowner for his portion, for his time. Und a Sibereke wollen wir ton für sich. And the remaining time we'll have for ourselves. Wir wollen alles haben. We'd have everything. Ki, chazerim, hiner, gens, kachkes. Cows, pigs, chickens, geese, ducks. Wie bald du kannst lernen und schreiben, seeing as you can read and write, wirst du nach Zagayik's Zeit vernehmen sein Ort. After Zagayik dies, you'll be able to take his place.